Hi guys, this is Tracy. Today I'm going to show you how to use this free elephant SVG and make a magnetic message board with a Dollar Tree magnetic board. I'm going to first hide my little, actually I'll just delete my little pink ling here because I'm going to focus on the blue guy. First I'm going to bring in a shape to represent the board, and I want to get the correct size so I know what size to make my little elephant here. So I'm going to unlock this, and I've already measured my board. I know my board is 10 inches wide by 7.75 high. Let's change the color of this to brown, and then I'm going to duplicate this and unlock it again. And the inside, 8.75 by 6.5, and I'm going to change that to a different color gray, and I'm just going to arrange this and center it, and then I'm going to group it. This is just so we have a visual for how big to make our little sticker here. Bring him to the front, okay, and I think I want him smaller, so let's try 5 and see how that is. By leaving this locked, when you change this number, he will stay proportioned in size. I think that one might be just a little bit too small. I think I want him a little bigger, so let's try 5.5. Okay, I think that looks good. So let's hide this. And the reason that I brought the SVG in is I already have an offset added to this one. If you brought in the one that didn't have the offset, you could come up here and add your own if you wanted to, but I just tried to make it easier and had it already added. And I am going to try and I'm going to change my elephant colors. So let's ungroup this. And I think I want him a little bit lighter. Yeah, I think I like that better. I'll make his feet a little lighter too. Let's see. Yeah, just play with it till you get it the way you like it. Okay, let's check out his ears here. I think I like that better. And then change his little feet, the hearts. Like that. Okay, group that back together. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to hit flatten. You see how it made it like a lighter color? That's just how it looks after you hit the flatten button, so don't worry. And then we're going to hit make it. Make sure you have your paper loaded into your printer. I'm using the StarCraft inkjet printable vinyl, and I know for my printer that I have to have the words facing towards the back, so just make sure you have it in the right way in your printer. Hit continue, send to printer, make sure the correct printer is selected. This is not a sublimation project, so you don't need a sublimation printer. This is just your regular printer. I leave my bleed on, and I'm going to check my system dialog here. Right printer is selected, preferences. For mine I use matte, and I have it on color. I want my quality to be high, and then that's all you need for this. Okay, and hit print. And while it's printing, I'll let you guys know that when I cut mine, I have my machine set to light cardstock plus. You really only need it to be set to light cardstock because you don't want this to cut all the way through your printable vinyl. In my head, I was thinking that I was cutting cardstock, so I wanted to make sure that it cut all the way through. It's not necessary. You really only need to cut that top layer. Here's what your design looks like when it comes out of the printer. It has StarCraft on the back, and that's what you're going to want to put on your mat before you put it in your machine to cut it. I would let your design dry just a little bit before you put it on your mat because you don't want the ink to bleed as you're running over it or to smear. And we're going to cut it on light cardstock. In my head, I was thinking that we were cutting cardstock, so I was trying to explain to you to make sure that you have it cut to cardstock plus or have it cut all the way through. You don't need this to cut all the way through. It just needs to cut that top layer. So here the Cricut is reading the registration marks. That's telling us where to cut your vinyl. So it's just going to cut all the way around that outside offset. And when you pull it out of your machine, you're going to remove the vinyl from your cutting mat. And here you'll see where it cut all the way through, and it really didn't need to. But if that does happen to you, you can work with it. It's not a big deal. And here I'm going to paint my board, and I'm just going to tape it off with some painter's tape. And I wasn't really sure how I wanted to paint the board. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a dry brush technique or if I wanted to paint it all the way around. So I started off with a chipboard brush, just doing a dry brush technique. And then later on I decided I wanted to do full coverage. But here I'm just using, this is called sheepskin. It's a chalk paint. If you've never used chalk paint before, it dries really quick. It's got good coverage. I'm just pouring a little bit into a bowl. And for that dry brush technique, you're going to dip your paintbrush in there and then wipe that paint off onto a paper towel. And y'all know I'm a messy crafter, so I had to remind myself to put my gloves on. I did remember this time. So I just did the dry brush technique over the board, and then after it dried, I think I waited maybe 20-25 minutes. I went back with a foam brush and put white on it. So you really wouldn't even need probably this chipboard brush if you didn't want to use it. You probably could just use a foam brush to give you the real good coverage. But this is white. And the foam brush did work really well. I only had to put one extra coat on it after this one. But you want to let it dry in between. And then you're going to take that painter's tape off. And after you take your painter's tape off, you want to clean that tin board with some rubbing alcohol to make sure you have any extra paint particles and dust off of there, because anything that's on your board is going to show underneath your vinyl when you push it on. And you don't need a whole lot of rubbing alcohol, just a little bit, and it does dry pretty quick. Okay, we're going to put our design on. And all you do is you just pull that paper off. It's just like a big sticker. And here again, you'll be able to see where my machine cut all the way through, which was not necessary, but like I said, we worked with it. It worked out. And take your time when you peel it off of the backing. You want to make sure that you don't pull up the side too fast and have it rip on you. It took me a while to get it to separate, as you see here. And then when I applied it, I put one side down and then carefully smoothed over it to the other side. You want to avoid having any kind of wrinkles or bubbles underneath it. But really, that's all there is to this project. You could absolutely personalize it, add the baby's name on there if you wanted to. I got myself a little magnet, little clipboard magnet to put on there, and I cut out some cardstock and little notepads or note paper. I think I cut them down to about 4 by 3. But my little clips here I just got off of Amazon, and I will leave the link for those, of course. But it would be cute if you used that same little elephant in a design for some personalized little note cards. But you would, of course, don't have to use the clip. You could use Post-it notes. You could use tape and just tape a note on there. But that's it. That's the whole project. I hope you guys like this one. Make sure to come show off your projects in our Facebook group if you make one. You know, I love seeing what you guys make. But that's it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here with me. Happy crafting.